going to talk tonight about the rites of Viparita, or it's referred to also as the rites of filth. You're going to find in your practice of Satanism, at the end of the satanic rainbow is literally a pot of filth. Now I'm going to make a separation here in terms of Satanism. Again, the Anton LaVey crowd, more of cosmetic Satanists, isn't really going to go into this genre of Satanism. This has to do with the Crowley, Jack Parsons, and again, Austin Osman Spare, that which I practiced. Anton LaVey, it's more of a cosmetic, it's an aesthetic thing. This personally repulsed him. He glazed on it lightly in his books with Blanche Barton. And what I'm going to talk about in terms of the rites of Viparita, or the Vamamag, is this. And this is the Yonite symbol. And the rites of Viparita has to do with the initiation rites. In the rite that I practiced, this is the neophyte. This is your first sphere. This is what you're looking at here is a bastardized version of the Kabbalah. This is the Qliphoth, the tree of death. Your entry into the initiation, which was a neophyte, this was my entryway at 19. My ascension went into this degree. This degree in the Kabbalah is called the Yasad, the foundation. In the Qliphoth, it is literally called the obscene ass. If you don't make it past this degree, you can forget all the others. You have a lot of wannabe Satanists. The cult of Cthulhu with venture satanists and claiming to have this title of Besestus. Only people who've ever gotten this title, basically we're talking about biblically, it would have been Nimrod in the Bible, Vlad Tepes, the Marquis de Sade, some make-believe wannabe Satanist like the cult of Cthulhu, etc., who claims to have this initiation degree. They're kidding themselves. It's just a facade. It's a joke. It's basically a sci-fi geek who decided to go rogue and thinks he's a Satanist. In this degree, the two most blaspheming, profane things that you can do. One is sacrifice. Two is sodomy. The obscene ass, or the jackal pit. You don't make it past this degree, you don't go anywhere else. Austin Osman Spare talked about embracing that which repulses you. Embracing the ugly and the filth. Because if you embrace the ugly and the filth as being beautiful, then there is nothing in between. All becomes one. In Keflu, in Italy, Crowley, between 1920 and 1923, did the rites of filth. I mean, it was actually talked about the fact that initiates who went to Keflu said, literally when they were walked into, quote, his temple, they were actually handed a plate of excrement. One of his initiates died from drinking cat urine. The reason why I'm talking about these filthy sides of Satanism is because pentagrams, the black clothes, all the stuff that you think is trendy and cool, and, you know, the great rebel. The true side of Satanism always comes down to two things. It comes down to deviant perversion, and it comes down to violence. Because the satanic archetype at its core is always murder and perversion. Everything else is just cosmetic. The highest degree, by the way, that I made in this was a 9 degree. And the 9 degree Magnus, it took me 10 years to get at this degree. So again, you have all these guys on YouTube talking about reaching it to the emphasis degree. What a joke. Doesn't happen that way. Just because you say you are, doesn't mean you are. Crowley talked about the fact, too, when he was beginning his initiation into the OTO, he actually revealed the secrets of the Order Templi Orientis in his Book of Lies, or the Book of Breaks. And what this is esoteric poetry, but if you look between the lines, most of it is just about sex magic, it's about sodomy, it's about contacting the deepest, darkest, blackest entities that you can get in touch with. In the OTO, the symbol of the OTO is very simply this. OTO. Now, take a hard look at this symbol. What do you see? What you really see is this. And this tells the whole story. Into the OTO, or any of the deepest, darkest degrees of Satanism, this is your gateway. It is literally sodomy. This, in Satanism, though cute, this is a cartoon character. Kenneth Grant, which he had a lot of critics, the late Kenneth Grant, he wrote the Typhon trilogy. Towards the tail end of Crowley's life, he was involved with Kenneth Grant. And Kenneth Grant said that, during this time, we're talking the 1920s, he said that Salvador Dali was the greatest living magician alive. The artist is Salvador Dali. Now I'm going to quote Salvador Dali. Dali said that obscenity, excrement, and in death lies his greatest spiritual energy. Salvador Dali's obsession was with sodomy and filth. Kenneth Grant talked about it in this book, The Hidden God. Second chapter, he touched on it in the tantric element of the OTO. So what this is coming down to is the elephant in the room in Satanism, the deep, dark little secret, the really deep, dark little secret. It comes down to one thing. It comes down to sodomy. It comes down to filth. It comes down to where you get your mind in a place where there is no difference between a steak and a pile of crap. There is no difference between beating somebody half to death and loving them more than anything on earth. It is a synthesis where all becomes one. Do not kid yourself. This is a slippery slope. Austin Osman Spare talked about that the highest ascension in magic and in the black arts comes from going to the deepest depths. Point being, there are other things that add to this. If this room could talk, you don't want to know what went on in this room. But believe me, in this room, weren't listening to, the latest death metal music. Wasn't drawing pentagrams on the wall. No wannabes came in this room. If this room could talk, I guarantee you, your interest in Satanism would leave very quickly. Bottom line. Satanism is not an ascension to godhood. Satanism is not going to bring you the intellect. It is not going to put you in the place you want to be in life. Because in Satanism, you go as far down as you can, hoping that you come back up. And again, I've said this before in past cycles. You are going to have your seasons. But one day, if you really want to play the game for real, you don't go past this degree, all you are is a cosmetic Satanist. You're a wannabe. So all I have to say, like I've said before, don't kid yourself. Because at the end of the satanic rainbow is nothing but a pile of crap. If you're involved in this, if you think it is aesthetically appealing, if you think you have a future in this, don't kid yourself, you don't. You, just like Jack Parsons, just like Aleister Crowley, just like Austin Osemanspare, and just like me, you will bottom out. God have mercy upon you. Reach out. Get out. Peace.